How's it going, people? It is Liam Caddison here with another episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, with episode 17 for season 7, with a really great episode last time around, which like I said, think is going to do wonders for character development for Andrew. But it was a very bizarre episode for the most part, but it wasn't without its sincere moments, especially towards the end. So, where we weren't just exploring Andrew, we were exploring, I guess, the closure of Anya and Xander as well. But I really, really loved the last episode, and like I said, I feel like that was the last, fun-esque episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, since we've got, 6 episodes left to go, so it's now this, path of determination to try and find a way, the best way possible to bring down the First, even though there are going to be casualties. Buffy has said that this is the reality of the situation, and unlike Andrew, she can't hide behind any illusions for, the perfect ending where everyone survives and the First just cowers, essentially. So, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting journey from here onwards. Of course, with Buffy being on a very serious path for these last couple of episodes especially, the stakes are definitely being raised in terms of the First's attack on not just Buffy and co, but also the potentials as well. So, yeah, I really, really loved the last episode. Very fun, very unorthodox at times, but it was a really great episode. So yeah, with that said, let's get into episode number 17 for season 7 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Let's go. Ooh. Oh, is this going into Robin's mother, potentially? Hey, potentially.
Well, all right. Got the moves, don't you? I want to ride you hard before I put you away, love.
Oh,
sure
goodness.
You always got to work the mission. Look at me. You know I love you. But I got a job to do.
Yeah.
The mission is what matters. Right?
This is top priority, especially since her head's on the chopping block by numerous vamps, including Spike.
Little tip, mate. Steak's your friend. Don't be afraid to use it.
Not the teeth. Steak. Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh. Be careful, that's how you get splinters.
Yeah, what I remember of her anyway.
Which is a bit odd, given
not a line every
these
girl
two
likes
are.
to hear, but in this case, compliment taken. Maybe you're right. Maybe everything is fine.
Everything's terrible. Catastrophe.
Chaz, what's wrong?
Have you seen the new library? There's nothing but computers. It's not a book to be
Oh!
seen. I don't know
Oh!
I mean, who do we speak to?
This is a war cry for Giles.
That would be me.
Trigger's a post-hypnotic thing. The First put it in his head. It made him... He was killing again.
So he has a trigger, a soul, and a chip?
Not anymore.
It was killing him, Giles.
2 out of
The
3.
trigger.
No, the chip. The trigger's not active anymore.
Because the military gave him a soul. Sorry.
Hopefully, once you understand what it is that's setting you off, you can break its hold on you.
Hopefully.
I mean, this
So it might not work?
Well,
it's the best shot in terms of having
Yes, it's up
Spike
to
no
Spike.
longer being a
And how do you
puppet.
expect to get that hunk of rubble into my cranium?
Willow?
Okay. Just hope my burn then too.
Poor Spike, he's like, well, I'm free of the shit.
Naughty.
All the rubbish people keep sticking in my head. It's a wonder there's any room for my brain.
I don't think it takes up that much space, do you?
Oh! You know what? I would volunteer the chip any day. Nah, that's great. That's great.
I still have hopes that one day there will be an addition to this household. But I will always look after you, Mother.
Aww.
This I promise.
Something bad's gonna happen. Oh, well, something bad is happening.
Never leave me. How could you use a poor maiden so?
Oh no. There's that trigger. Oh!
I mean, he could slaughter 100 frat boys. And
Wow, Anya.
goodness makes us human.
Come on.
Blah, blah, blah.
Willow, call for you from LA. Somebody named Fred. Guy sounds kind of effeminate.
Look, Spike, listen to me. What is it
Wait,
about your
wait a second!
Got along fine with her. She was a nice lady.
Well, there has to
Is
be more than
Willow
that.
going to LA?
Blood as they scream our names across the. What?
You want to bring your mum with us?
Well,
Family day out.
yeah. You like her?
Oh, she's gonna kill
See what
her.
you mean? William, I'm the other that gave birth to your son. I beg your pardon.
It's true, Mother. Drusilla, she has made me what I am.
Congratulations, your son is a
I'm
vampire.
no longer bound to this mortal coil. It's only me.
He's gonna go in for the hug and then.
We'll be together forever.
William.
It only hurts for a moment.
Damn it.
Okay, I mean, I guess now is as good a time as we're likely to see for a while. Just hurry back. Will do.
See you on Angel, Willow!
Now, I'm talking about what needs to be done for the greater good, Giles.
The thing is, though, that they might be making a massive mistake in trying to get rid of Spike. If they go along with this.
What exactly do you propose?
Oh, Buffy ain't gonna like
I
this.
need to keep Buffy.
It's time you looked at the big picture.
Hello? All I do is look at the big picture. The other day, I gave an inspirational speech to the telephone repairman.
But it takes more than
I want to see
rousing
that.
speeches to lead, Buffy. If you're going to be
Buffy
a general,
speeches.
you need to be able to make difficult decisions regardless of cost.
Have you seen me with those girls? Me? The way I've treated
She's
my
already
friends
accepted
and
the
my
reality of
family,
the situation.
See, I've been searching for you for a very, very long time.
Oh no.
Ever since you killed my mother.
Oh
Killed a
no.
lot of people's mothers.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that rings Vader when he said, I've killed many fathers.
Sun was rising. I heard a young maid sing in the valley below.
Wow.
Oh, don't you see?
He's triggering him like that. Wow.
Could you use a
There he is.
maiden soul?
This might be not a good idea.
Everything.
Mother,
I hate to be cruel. No, I don't.
But that's her now,
I used to
because
hate to be cruel in life.
now she's a
I
vampire.
find it rather freeing. Dashed your brains out when I first saw you.
Oh. God.
God.
What?
I prayed you'd find a woman to release me.
That any one of us is expendable in this war.
Have you heard my speeches?
That we cannot allow any threat that would jeopardize our chances of winning.
Yes,
Please
I
put
get
two
it.
and two together with Spike.
And yet there is Spike.
I just think that Giles, I don't know if Giles would do this, but
Never cared for anyone but yourself.
Inside. And you finally got your wish, didn't you? Sank your teeth into me. An eternal kiss.
no. I only wanted to make you well.
You wanted your hands on me. Perhaps you'd like a chance to finish off what you started.
I loved you. I did. Not like
oh, I
Just like
there's that sympathy with Spike.
this is what you've always wanted. There, there.
This is sad and
Only
disturbing.
hurt for a moment.
this. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry. I don't give a piss about your mom. She was a slayer. I was a vampire.
He was a lot more different then as well.
Game?
But still.
And not enough to quit, though, was it? Not enough to walk away. For you. I'll tell you a story.
It's kind of
I'm a mother
similar.
and son. See, like you, I love my mother.
I was gonna say it's kind of similar to
So much
his
so I turned her
ordeal.
into a vampire. Huh. So we could be together. When I sired her, I set loose a demon, and it tore into me. But it was a demon talking, not her.
I heard a young maid sing.
That's a nice little song you got there.
Wait, he's not reacting.
Thanks, Doc. You killed me after all.
Holy shit! Yeah, he did.
I got my own free
But
will now. I'm not under the First or anyone else's influences now.
You're stalling me. You're keeping me awake.
It's time to stop playing the role of general.
oh, Giles.
To start being one. This is the way wars are won.
He hasn't done anything to Wood, right?
I gave him a pass. Let him live.
Of
On account of
course.
the fact I killed his mother. But that's all he gets. He even so much as looks at me funny again, I'll kill him.
And you're looking for revenge on a man that doesn't exist anymore.
Buffy, don't delude
yeah.
yourself.
He's got
That man
a
still
reason to be
exists.
upset, but
Spike
he is
is
different,
the
and we
strongest
are
warrior we have.
in this war.
We're gonna need him if we're gonna come out of this thing alive. If you try anything again, he'll kill you. More importantly, I'll let him.
Oh!
What I told you is still true. You need to learn.
No. I think you've taught me everything I need to know.
Oh. Ouch. I mean, I can't really... Like, Buffy was betrayed by her watcher. By Wood, the person she's supposed to be dating. Two important people in her life at the minute betrayed her because she needs Spike at the end of the day, and yeah, I've made my expression about how, you know, disturbed I was with Spike, especially in season 6, and I think this what he's going through now with the soul was the only thing that could really made me tolerate that. But the thing is, I can understand why Wood would want revenge on Spike, though he is a lot more different, and this is not what is needed. If you eliminate Spike, especially with this war coming up, then, because it's interesting how how Giles is talking about Spike could be a piece in terms of jeopardizing what is going to happen with this fight against the First. But if you take Spike out of the equation, and Buffy is the one person I feel like who has the right to judge Spike in terms of like if he deserves to live or not, for example. If she can unleash the chains and whatnot. Because she knows how dangerous he is, but she also knows how pivotal he is, and she knows that ultimately, without that control, he chooses the side of the Scoobies rather than the side of evil. So, and yeah, that I will give Wood that benefit that it might have been a bad idea for what him and Giles was planning, but at least that control is now gone. So, yeah, but... Hoi. I really loved this episode, though. I think this was one of the most fascinating episodes of season 7 thus far. It was just really great to have an insight into Spike, and I guess how different he is back then to who he is right now, especially with Wood, and how he was, of course, trying to unleash the demon, and I guess inadvertently cured him, especially with Spike flashing back to his past with his mother, and the realization that that was, I guess, the catalyst to the trigger to the hold that the first had on him. And yeah, it was really, really emotional, especially when you consider, I think it was Full for Love, when everyone had shunned him, and when his mother was a human, she had such such admiration for him, and was truly the only person who really had that admiration. And when Spike sired her, there was that demon that rose from his mother, and it was really heartbreaking because she was the only person that I think truly loved him when he was a human. And now that was gone, there was that hatred that came from her mother. And it was like all those hostile feelings that her mother his mother echoed, should I say, when she was a vampire. I don't want to say it was like a suppression on her genuine feelings, but it was. I feel like with Spike, you could sense what he feared with his mother, like what his mother would say and all of that, and that came to light. So, they're not really one for love, soulless vampires, and all that hostility, all those like that aggression, those worst impulses, they arose. So, and it was really heartbreaking, and I feel like that was a very, very pivotal moment in terms of what shaped Spike into the infamous vampire that he would become, because this was days after he got sired as well. So this was a pretty big moment in terms of shaping who Spike would become. And I feel like not only did this episode do a good job at, I guess, looking at this, I'd say, great way of what shaped his trigger and the hold that the first had on him, but also the legacy of the vampire that Spike was when he was without a soul. Because I feel like this episode did a very good job at, like I said, painting the differences and, the way that Spike views his past. Because there was, of course, this animosity that finally blew open between Wood and Spike. And, of course, we've had sprinkles within the past few episodes, last episode especially, when Wood was going to go for the kill and Spike's skin was just saved. But this is the episode where things blew open, where Wood understandably wanted revenge for what Spike did, but I feel like there is a huge... Well, not just is it wrong timing, considering we've got a war on our hands with the first, but also there is a slight difference, and I feel like Spike's explanation to things is I'd say a pretty valid one, because it's not like and I feel like this is a really, really good episode to have a look at the differences between Spike and Angel, for example, in terms of how they look at their past, because you have Spike, who I don't think has any kind of I feel like there is a bit of a remorseful feeling, should I say, in Spike's attitude, but I think that there is this idea that the past is there, it's cemented, I can't really do anything about it, and plus that was me then. That was I'm going to be honest about this. That was my impulses, and I would go in for the kill. I could now if I was without a soul, but there we go. And I can't really do anything about the past. I could just move forward. And I feel like with Angel, with what he did as Angelus, he more so reflects on the past and tries to right his wrongs there. So with Spike, he's not so much focusing on the past, more so of the future and who he is right now, because he knows what he did. So yeah, and that was the demon in him when he faced Nikki. More so, like with right now, he has a more expanded viewpoint in life, and there is not that dangerous impulse that comes with the demon that he was back then. So, I mean, we even heard Buffy make an echo of it, like you were. Back a couple of episodes ago when she blasted him for not being as dangerous as he was when he was without a soul. So yeah, and I think there is that, you know, realization when he reflects on his mother, because when he had to kill her, that wasn't his mother, it was more so the demon. So but I feel like with Wood, it's, you know, potato, isn't it? In terms of him without a soul, him with a soul. But and it doesn't help that Spike was very, very, you know, cold to him, even going as far to say that I think your mother didn't really love you as much as the job. And I feel like, of course, that's going to take much priority, but I don't know. I do feel a bit conflicted, because you just think about Buffy and her relations to family, to Joyce, to Dawn, and obviously Slayer life is going to take precedence. But I felt like that was more of a volume of your mother didn't love you. There you go. So I don't know. I could be misinterpreting that, but there is that semblance of, yeah, Slayer life is going to take precedence because the weight of the world is on your shoulders. But I feel like it was more of a viewpoint of, yeah, your mother, no. So she was more, she valued the Slayer life more so than she did you. And in a very, very cold way, if that makes sense. So, and I think that was more of a reflection of, you know, his mother when she was a demon, the vampire life. Valued that more so than her love for Spike, because there was such a hostile reception when his mother, you know, was a vampire. So yeah, but I do feel like with Spike, he knows that the past is that. It's like, I can't really do anything about it. He can't change it. There's no point reflecting on the past and being like Angel, where he tries to make, I guess, amends for what he did. It's more so, who are you right now? And the steps you make right now, they are important. You can't, you know, take steps back and retrace your steps. It's more so making about the steps forward, if that makes sense. So yeah, so that's more so what I'm looking at in terms of the reaction to Spike to Wood. Like, yeah, Wood has his reasons to be angry with Spike, understandably, but for Spike, it's more so of a case of, what do you want me to do? I can't snap my fingers. I can't change time. I'm not going to look back in the past, because it's the future that matters. So yeah, it's that instinct that I had at the time. I can't pretend like, yeah. So I feel like that is the message that he was sending to Wood, that I can't change time. It was impulsive then, and it would be now if I was in the same position, most likely. And yet he let him live. He showed the difference between who he was then when he killed his mother and who he was right now. Because I was looking at that scuffle with Wood and Spike, and I think they were going, because I thought at some point Wood was gonna put on the jacket, like as a memorial, I guess, in a sense, for his mother. But I was looking at that fight, and I was thinking, okay, are they going to try and do some kind of parallel to the Wood, to Wood's mother and Spike back in the 70s? And I feel like the parallel there can be, if you were like if I was still the same person I was back in 1977, I would probably end you right there and then. But I don't have that drive anymore. I don't have that impulse. I am not that same person. And and this is it. I know my past, but it's all about moving forward. So yeah. So I can understand, like, it was a bit reckless from Wood, and it might not have been, because not only was his decision to try and off Spike, reckless, especially in this war against the First, especially with Buffy needing him, but there was also that betrayal of trust as well, not just from him, but Giles as well. But I did like the exploration into Wood and his interactions with his mother. And just the way he, just a bit of explanation into his life about him getting, trained, etc. So, yeah, and as well as just a perspective on Spike as well, because, yeah, it was very, very interesting. Like I said, looking at the two different sides of Spike, who he was then and who he is now, and how, he does accept his past and he can't do anything about it. But also, reflecting on that trigger, I guess, as well, like, and not just the trigger that the First had on Spike, that being plural, because now that's no longer there, but also just explaining about, what shaped Spike because of that rejection from his mother, the really only human symbol that he had, because, like I said, everyone else shunned him, as we saw in Full for Love, and his mother was there, and once that demon arose from her, then yeah, that really became a very, very heartbreaking scenario for Spike to revisit. As we saw, he was trying to hold back that, he was trying to suppress that memory, if anything. So yeah, but it was very interesting going into the whole Spike and Wood situation, and like I said, seeing that connection with Wood and his mother in that flashback. Even though, like I said, though, I don't see Spike's comments about, Wood's mother not loving him as that. Like, I think there was that sprinkle of love, but it's more so the mission is important. As I said, that takes more precedence. You've got the weight of your world on your shoulders. And, inside there is that love, but she's got to focus more on the mission. The mission is important, which Buffy did even echo to Wood. So yeah, but like I said, I feel like I feel like with what Spike said, it was more so of a cold jab, especially with the fact that he tried to kill you. So yeah, but because we've seen with Buffy, for example, there is love with Joyce, with Dawn, with her friends, with everyone, even, I guess, Angel. But that's actually a reference, well, I guess, like how the mission is important, because she did love Angel, but it was either Angel or the world, really. Going back to season 2. After, the whole Angelus thing, you even saw how she had to do it, but it broke her. But it's all about the mission at the end of the day. So, and that's the same with Nikki, really. She did love Wood, and that's a fact, but it's always about the mission. So, yeah, but like I said, it was really, really great to go into a bit of backstory with Robin and the fight that was inevitable. I was hoping it would either be this episode or the next episode, and thankfully we finally got them to sparring out, Wood inadvertently breaking the curse that was surrounding Spike. And yeah, not just that though, but I guess fracturing the relationship with Buffy. So, because a bit of trust is now, it's interesting though, because there was that mindset with Giles, like he wasn't really too entirely sure that he could trust Buffy's judgment in terms of, keeping Spike around, especially with the danger that he possesses, which I do get. But the irony is that Buffy does she's lost a bit of trust in not just Wood but Giles as well, because of the decision for them to go behind her back to try and get rid of Spike, because of the fact that he could jeopardize the mission. And I wasn't really agreeing with what Giles was doing, because he was more so obviously he was trying to stall Buffy from the fact that Wood was tending to Spike and planning on offing him. Though, I don't agree with the questioning that Giles has in terms of Buffy making the hard calls. Because I feel like Buffy is making a very, very hard decision in terms of the people surrounding her, because it's not exactly an opinion that everyone is fully in agreeing with in terms of allowing Spike to be a part of the of her side. So there is that hard decision, because not everyone is. It's a controversial decision, but Buffy knows what she's doing. Buffy needs all the help she can get, and that's why she's kept Spike around. And Buffy's made hard decisions before, so yeah. But as I said, though, with what Giles did in this episode, there is a bit of a dent in terms of their relationship now, especially since both Wood and Giles worked together in terms of trying to get rid of Spike, thinking of the fact that he could be a risk for the potentials, an open opportunity for the first, which obviously Buffy knows that was the risk, hence why the chains, but Buffy also knows that Spike is very, very fundamental, and if there is a way we can break this curse that the first has on him, if essentially, then we'll find a way. Until then, we'll keep him chained up as regularly as possible, and that's it. But Wood and Giles had a different way of going about this. They decided to cut off the arm before the infection spread, if that makes sense. So yeah, and obviously I can understand why Giles doesn't have a huge amount of trust in Spike. Same with Wood, obviously. Same with anyone, really. But Buffy's judgment, it's not exactly silly, is it? Buffy has been experienced, and these past few episodes, she has really took a very sincere approach in terms of this fight against the first. So, yeah, she is making a hard decision amongst the potentials, amongst Giles, amongst everyone, by allowing Spike into the equation. So, yeah, but not just that, though, but I feel like, I don't know if this is a mirror, if anything, regarding Giles taking on the opportunity to off Spike because Buffy couldn't. In Giles's mind, Spike should be dealt with because he poses a danger, because he's an open opportunity for the first, and he feels like Buffy can't bring himself around to ending him. Kind of similar like Ben, in a sense, back in season 5, when Giles did what he had to because he was more darkened than Buffy. Buffy couldn't afford herself to sink to that level, so Giles took the opportunity to end him. So I feel like that's a bit of a mirror, if anything. But I feel like that speaks volumes regarding. I feel like that was kind of deliberate in terms of Giles's character, to why he decided to go for Robin. It's just that I also feel like Giles would not, especially if Buffy, especially in this war against the first, if Buffy says that Spike is fundamental, then I don't know, there's a part of me that feels like Giles would kind of understand, but he's also been hammering Buffy about, you took the chip out, I don't think that's a good idea, so I don't know, I'm a bit conflicted about that, because I feel like with him agreeing with Robin, it makes sense, but it also is a bit of a, I don't know, would Giles do that kind of thing if Buffy says we need him in this war? So it's a tricky one to ponder, but what is definitely a certainty is I feel like there's going to be a bit of I don't know, this might be a potential for the First to take advantage as well. Like, even though the First has completely lost connection to Spike, that rift might expand with Buffy and Giles, because I don't think that what Giles did to try and distract her is going to smooth overnight, is it? So I feel like this could be advantage to the First, even though it's lost the contact to Spike. There is that animosity, and that could lead to an opportunity for the First. Who knows? So yeah, but I really, really loved this episode. Like I said, it was very interesting to explore Wood's backstory, as well as Spike and how different he is right now. And like I said, there is not so much as a sense... I mean, there is, I feel like, a sense of remorse, but more so an understanding that he can't really do anything about it. And who he was then, that's how he truly felt. But he's completely different right now, to the point where he would rather be honest about it. It's going to be a cold truth, isn't it, to Wood? But, he's not exactly going to be like, yeah, I'm sorry, even though I'm not going to mean it. So, like, he's going to pretend to mean it. Because back then, that was his desire. And it was instinct for him, like Slayers versus Vampire. That's who he was. So, yeah. There's also the bit about Willow going to LA. So, next Angel episode, hopefully, because they could do something, because I think with them being on different networks, that created a bit of a complication for Buffy characters to come on Angel. But with the way they were setting things up, it makes me hope, especially with what's going on with Angel at the minute. There is that bit of hope that Willow is coming to LA and we're going to see her on the next episode of Angel. So, woo woo. Not just that though, but like when she was told that there was this person called Fred calling, my heart kind of left my soul a bit, because Fred and Willow are two characters that need to interact. They need to interact. I swear to God, if I get denied the next episode, like, Willow visited off screen, I don't think it's going to happen, like I said, given the events of what's currently going on with Angel. But if it's an off-screen thing, I will... this keyboard is not going to survive. I will say that. Because Willow and Fred need to interact. They are two characters I love so wholesomely, and yeah. But I feel like with the amount of referencing that that they did in this episode, as well as what's going on with Angel at the minute, I feel like we're going to see Willow in the next episode of Angel. So color me happy. I'm coming into this next just what it you know what's funny, earlier today, in terms of my recording perspective, I made a little bit of a mistake in my introduction, because I'm like, oh, this certain voice actor is going to be voicing Spider-Man, and I was completely wrong, because some sources are inaccurate. So I feel like I have to be careful the next time I come into Angel thinking we're going to see Willow, because just in case it's an off-screen thing. But like I said, I am 99.9% sure that it's not going to be an off-screen thing. So fingers crossed. I just say that because obviously the different networks, I think that was an explanation to why Buffy characters could not interact. Because I think that was the case with when Buffy and Angel went to meet after Buffy's resurrection. It was an off-screen thing there. So yeah. But I think it was a different networks thing. But I'm guessing at this point they might have resolved something. They might have come to a deal. So yeah. But yeah, this was a very, very interesting episode with some complicated emotions. And I don't know, I just feel like things were a bit, I don't know, like reflecting on what I said in terms of my post-thoughts. Because I do understand, Spike looking back at his past and feeling a bit remorse, but not focusing on that, if that makes sense. And I don't know. I just feel like things might, because sometimes, you know, when it comes to me explaining my thoughts, sometimes I feel like I'm gonna, you know, muddle things up in terms of I don't know, comprehension, because sometimes things come out and it can be a bit confusing in terms of the point I'm getting across. So I don't know, but I understand the scenarios going into Spike looking back at his past and yeah, you know, just everything that came about with Wood and Spike. So yeah, but it was a really superb episode, and I really loved this episode so much. So awesome stuff. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. You can check my videos on the right. If you want to check out more of my content, you can also subscribe to my media feeds and channel if you want to. Hope you guys enjoy this reaction. Hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys next time. Toodles!